You don't need to go to Niagara Falls when you can eat some Brian balls.
What's going on, NASCAR diecast collectors and diecast viewers on YouTube? This is Original Big Bri here, and welcome to one of the first videos I got for NASCAR Authentics Wave reviews for Wave 10, guys. So I know you guys, I know how you guys like these diecast reviews for each and every single wave. But yeah, we do got something to plan out very soon. A lot of stuff to talk about for NASCAR Authentics, especially for Wave 10, Wave 11, and heck, even the drama with Wave 12. But it's time to do some diecast reviews, and the first one up I decided to do a review on it is going to be on Paul Menard's 2018 Quaker State Ford Fusion by the Wood Brothers Racing Team. So, I mean, as you guys already know, that a lot of people are going to love this car because by the name of this name, well, hoping everybody's not going to get hard for Menard. But, heck, let's go ahead and start the hashtags, even though that's a dead meme, I believe, but heck. And there's the back of the die cast of everything else from Wave 10, if you guys are looking forward to see that, including the colored chase piece for the Wyndham Rewards car for Matt Kenseth. So, with that in mind, let's go ahead and start the unboxing and the official die cast review of the Paul Menard Quaker State car. Alrighty, guys, we got this car off its box, and before we get things started on this Paul Menard Quaker State 2018 car, let's go ahead and take a look at the little accessory. And you guys see right there, this is the return of the rectangular magnets, but a really nice magnet that we got. I even love how they decided to put the Wood Brothers Racing logo right on top of that. Might look out of place, but it does look really nice, and you know, really nice. I mean, we got that gold 21 as well. Usually, I mean, this is actually a really nice alternate scheme that we got for Paul Menard. It's a shame we didn't got the Menards card, unlike we did with Ryan Blaney's, but who knows? Maybe that'll come off a surprise for maybe 2019. Because we all know Menard is going to stay on board for Paul Menard. Speaking of Paul Menard, man, heck, this car is really nice, and it looks like we got a paint chip right on the 21, so it looks like that is some great disrespect for not only Paul Menard, but the Wood Brothers as well. But I wonder if I can pull that out. No, I can't. Looks like that's a little mark from the factory. Oh well, not every diecast will be perfect. But yeah, really nice looking car that we got. I believe Paul Menard only drove this car once, or maybe he drove it another time, but he mostly drives this car at the Quaker State 400, which is at Kentucky Speedway, which I know is probably the least favorite race that we got in the NASCAR Cup Series. I mean, we don't have a second race in New Hampshire anymore. And the second Pocono race, you know, is not that popular as well. But yeah, Kentucky, not the most popular track. But, you know, can't really say that too much since I am a Kentucky native and my driver just won there twice in a row. So I'm a pretty happy guy when it comes to Kentucky. But, you know, got a sense of pietism in there. But, man, I really love this car. The green really pops, and man, I mean, if you guys were a fan of the NASCAR in the 2010s for NASCAR, this car might look familiar to you guys. If you guys remember the Casey Kane and Mark Martin Quaker State car that was driven by those guys for Hendrick Motorsports, this car has some similarities to it. I mean, it's not the exact same paint scheme, but how the colors are placed and the gold number and the green front and the white sides literally looks like almost an exact replication. I mean, you could probably consider this car as a Donson throwback as well, maybe. I mean, heck, when I first saw that, I was like, wow, that's a cool throwback. Oh wait, that's an actual Quaker State car. But really do love this car, guys. And the paint scheme might actually look familiar as well for the layout, because as I'm showing you guys the diecast comparison of this is the exact same paint scheme layout as my boy Ryan Blaney in his Pennzoil car. So I'm glad that they did that right there. I mean, this diecast review is going to probably be pretty short because I'm already on the comparison, but there's so many great things about this car as I'm showing you guys, you know, the more of this car. I mean, pretty appropriate to have Pennzoil and Quaker State that are both, surprisingly, I think they're rival oil companies. So I find it hilarious that, you know, they both drive for Team Penske / Wood Brothers, because they are an alliance, and they run off the same scheme. But in my opinion, I think the Quaker State car actually looks, for the paint scheme, looks a lot more better than the Pennzoil car. I mean, don't get me wrong, the Pennzoil car does look nice, but still don't like the two yellows that they got. And we rarely see that many green cars. I mean, we do see a lot of yellow cars in the Cup Series, but green is a very odd color that not too many drivers really see, and it's not really the luckiest color out there, especially when you go to a track like Indianapolis, for sure. That's a superstition for any IndyCar fans that are watching. yeah, I mean, it's still a nice car, regardless or not. I mean, I'm glad, and if you guys are wondering, this car is not exclusive. You can also get this car in the Gold Series mold as well. Well, the Gold Series version. I mean, they're both on the same mold. But, yeah, for any guys out there who are at the Kentucky Speedway race, probably this would be a car to get because it definitely was one of the cars that stand out at the track. That's for certain. Plus, it's also the main sponsor of the race, if it's still called the Quaker 400. Probably still is, otherwise why would Menard have the sponsor? But then again, he's had the sponsor ever since, you know, he first drove a NASCAR. I mean, heck. And, yeah, let's talk about Paul Menard for a second, guys. I mean, he definitely has shown an improvement with the Wood Brothers team. I mean, glad to see him back in a Ford. We haven't seen him in a Ford since his days with Roush, which, thank God he's not with Roush, because Roush looks like it's heading to a deep, you know, crapper, especially with their Xfinity program closing. But we'll probably talk about that with the Matt Kenseth Wyndham Rewards car. But, yeah, this Quaker State car, man, I mean, what more can I say about this? But, yeah, back to Paul Menard, actually. You know, he's actually been running a lot more consistent. I think this has actually been his, I mean, probably next to 2011 when he got that first win at the Brickyard. This is probably his most consistent season that he's had so far. So, really got some high hopes for Paul Menard in this team. I'm sure we're going to... Hoping we can see the Wood Brothers race again for a win in the not so distant future. I mean, he did won that pole at Chicago a few, you know, for a few months back, which was really surprising. I mean, so who knows what's gonna happen with Paul Menard? But whenever that happens and whenever you're excited, make sure to get hard for Menard, guys. But yeah, I mean, that's all I mostly got to say about this Paul Menard 2018 Quaker State Ford Fusion, driven by, yeah, you know who, for Wood Brothers Racing. If you guys enjoyed this diecast review along with other NASCAR Authentics diecast reviews, feel free to take a second and comment below what you liked about this video and this series as well. And feel free to comment below which car you're looking forward to me to review next. It could be a Wave 10 car, or Wave 11, or even Wave 12. But thank you guys so much for watching. Support this series as much as you guys can do, and subscribe if you guys haven't already. And this is Original Big Bri, and I will catch you guys on another NASCAR Authentics diecast review.